So the functionality that we have set up so far is pretty basic. By pretty, I mean really basic. Essentially, when this page loads up, it should display, I mean without JavaScript, it should display 4 different div containers, all with they all have a unique image for the artist we set them for, right? But what happens is our jQuery code, first it hides the image pane class, which is what all of these have applied to them, and then it shows the one class that we want. And this is on load, it's going to show run DMC. Now, while this is obviously very basic behavior, it's all we need to get all these different links above to do the same thing. Essentially, here's what I could do. As long as I have some kind of unique value set up for each one of these elements, because right now they're all they all have some common attributes. These links specifically, they all are links, you know, A, and they're all link items, LI. So in order for me to have that link specifically do something, I need to tell jQuery or JavaScript that this is unique somehow. And so what I'm going to do is actually add class, the same class like run DMC. I'll add that class to this link, and then with the behavior that we already have set up, which does essentially what we want it to do, but for each specific one, I'm just going to kind of copy and paste that in there in my JavaScript code and just change it up a hair. So, alright, enough talk, let's start coding. So I am going to Google jQuery click function. I mean, I know how to use the click function, I just want to go copy and paste some code from somewhere, and this looks like the familiar thing that I want to use. Looking real quick at all these different lines, I know that the very top line, line 1 and line 5, I already have in my document, so I could take them out. Essentially, all I need is this middle part. And okay, so what am I going to do to this part just by looking at it before I even put it into my document? I know that this part I'm going to have to change, and this part is going to be it says that when click happens on what? Well, in this example is when click happens on a button with the alert class. For us, as long as we give like the list item a class, say Beastie Boys, then we would put li.beastieBoys to be what's going to happen, and then inside over here, line 3, where it says alert, that's where we're going to put that hide show value. So let me copy this code, go back into Dreamweaver, and I'll just set it up right here. Oops, I got some errors in my code already. What happened? These hashes seem to be brought in from whatever I was looking at online. I guess I had some hashes in the code. Let me code this right here and just put button functionality. That way I know what this part of the JavaScript document is going to do. So what am I going to do? Essentially, let me start with this code here, and I want, as soon as, let's just do list item. Just for right now, anytime we click on a list item, we want to hide the window pane, and since we're showing run DMC in our, as soon as it loads, let me put slick Rick to show it. I just want to make sure that what I'm thinking in my head is actually going to happen in the code. Let me refresh this. So now, what happened there? Something changed, and okay, I was going to say something changed and I don't even know, but I disabled the JavaScript with my Firefox web developer plugin. Okay, so now run DMC gets loaded as soon as the document goes, and theoretically anytime I click on any of these, this, since I'm just targeting all list items, this should change to Slick Rick. Okay, It did. All right. So I started off with a very generic tag, but now I'm going to get specific with it. So since this is supposed to be Slick Rick, I'm going to go here. I'm going to copy that Slick Rick class there. And now this isn't going to work yet, because if I go back to, because now I need a list item with the class Slick Rick in order for this to work. So let me go back to my HTML, and okay, here's my Slick Rick button over here. Now it's important that I set this class to the right element. Class, so here we go, Slick Rick. Now check this out. This is how I was driving myself crazy at some other project I was working on, where my link wouldn't, where my JavaScript wouldn't work, and I was actually targeting a link item, but I had my class in the A. So what happened is although I had some code, my HTML looked like this, right? So this is just a plain link item, and only the link, the A, has the right class. But in my JavaScript, I was targeting the LI, and I was wondering why it didn't work. And it was such a one of those things where I kind of took a break, got a cup of tea, and then when I came back to it, it was like stupid obvious. So let me just go and pull out this class and make sure it works out. You know, the hell with it. Now that I'm here, I'm gonna set them all up with the, and actually set them all up with their own unique class. And it's a little sketchy doing it manually. The code hinting helps a lot. And do class here, and this is going to be Grandmaster Flash. So now they all have a unique class, and I do have at least, okay, this one function is at least looking for the list item with the Slick Rick tag class on it. So let me get at least two different functions in here, so when I go to preview the page, I can make sure they work. And what was I doing? Run DMC, paste that in there, save it. Now give this bad boy a whirl. So how come my run DMC doesn't work? Run DMC, one of them worked. And where's my, let's give this a refresh. You know what? I am going to use Dreamweaver to its fullest. Make sure this has a class.run. Oops. Let me close that out. It has the class run DMC. It says li-run DMC. My script is targeting run DMC. Let me give this another refresh. Maybe something changed. So Beastie Boys Grandmaster. So Slick Rick is the only one that's working. I wonder what that's about. It's always something, you know? Okay, so my JavaScript syntax is right. I know that because I'm looking at my Dreamweaver. It doesn't have any errors. Let me look through Firebug, see what happens when I... Oops, here we go. So when I click Slick Rick, okay, that changes. But when I click Run DMC, oh, come on. You didn't want to do this before. Okay. Okay, cool. Well, I guess maybe it was just a cache issue. Well, it works. And now all I really need to do is finish this, and I'm gonna go along here and just make sure that I set up functionality for each one. Now I'm gonna do it in the order that they're listed over here, just for my own sake. So I'll do Grandmaster Flash class. Any errors on this secret? Beastie Boy. Okay, so I need Beastie Boys over here. Give this bad boy a test now. Grandmaster Flash, Beastie Boys, Run DMC, Slick Rick. Alright, that is pretty slick. So yeah, you know what I was saying before about putting them in order? I'm just going to move all these now in the order in which they are listed on the page.